It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and this is CarEdge Live for Tuesday, March 11th, with your hosts, me, feeling chipper and spring-like, Ray, and, well, my handsome son, Zach. How are you today, handsome?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Today's show, Pops, is not only brought to you by CarEdge, it's brought to you by CarEdge Negotiation Expert, a new product from CarEdge. You see right there where it says skip the dealership back on caredge.com. You click on that, Dad, and it takes you right here to caredge.com/concierge, the link that is now scrolling at the bottom of the screen. We now have a negotiation-only service. If you know what car you're looking for, you don't have to pay us to go find it. We can just handle the hard part for you. Check it out, caredge.com. Click on skip the dealership. Again, caredge.com. Right there. Skip the dealership and go ahead and give Negotiation Expert a try. Dad, the big story this morning comes by way of Deutschland. We are going over to Germany, Dad. Ford's German union fears bankruptcy risks despite $5 billion in help from U.S. parent. There have been all sorts of challenges over at the Blue Oval. And it seems here, Dad, Ford's operations in Germany and Spain are on the precipice of going under. $4.8 billion in cash being injected into the European operation. However, they have not been making money for a long time, and Ford is losing market share over in Europe. Is this a sign of more broad, and we've got another automaker we're going to talk about in a second here who also might be facing bankruptcy. Is this a sign of more broad instability and challenges for the Blue Oval and automakers in general?
Yes, broadly speaking, yes. And it is because, Ford has their EV division, and EVs seem to be much more popular in Europe than they are here at the moment in the United States. And Ford's EVs in Europe just really haven't been able to compete with their competitors over there. And so, yes, they have lost market share. Their market share has dropped from 4% to 3.3%. That doesn't seem huge, but when you're not selling enough cars to be profitable to begin with, any loss of additional sales exacerbates the problem. And so there are probably any number of brands that are struggling. And so, yes, broadly, you could say that this is an indication that it's difficult not only for Ford but for many others. It's a little unnerving if you're Ford. You have an EV division in the United States that lost, what was it, $5.5 billion last year. You just had to give $5 billion to your division in Germany. I can't do math, but that's $10.5 billion, folks.
We know other automakers are struggling right now. I don't think it's too far-fetched to think Ford and maybe some others are going to exit markets because they're no longer profitable or have not been profitable for a long time. I think Europe would be a big domino to fall if Ford, who's one of the largest automakers in the world, leaves Europe. That's a sign of challenges in other markets. We know they're struggling mightily in China, for example, and we know they're struggling significantly here in the United States. The other automaker, Dad, who's been on the brink of bankruptcy would be Nissan. And Nissan just had the big news this morning. Nissan taps, quote, real car guy Ivan Espinosa as new CEO. So Nissan's bringing in a new chief executive officer to try and turn around the business, a business that has reportedly been reported only has 12 to 18 months of cash on hand, had a failed merger conversation with Honda. I mean, we've got a new CEO here, but Nissan might be making some big moves as well to try and stave off bankruptcy and no longer existing.
You know what's funny in that headline?
What's that, Dad?
Nissan taps, quote unquote, real car guy.
Yeah.
They're automobile manufacturers, for goodness sake. They're car companies. Why wouldn't you want a car guy running a car company?
This is similar to what Stellantis did, right? They brought in the gentleman, Tim Canustis, who I think is, was previously running Dodge, very much like a car guy through and through. They brought him into a new leadership role after he left. Like, there is seemingly a resurgence of car guys at these automakers.
It is, I spent 43 years in the business, which is a long damn time.
Yep.
And it never ceased to amaze me how many of these car companies were not run by car people. Uh, we're out there on the front lines trying to sell cars to people, and the CEOs and everybody else, they've never, the only thing they sold in their life was probably the board on the fact that as to why they should hire them.
Yeah.
To run car companies and not understand the ins and outs of what goes on at a dealership level, at the ground level of how they're sold, is insane to me. And it's usually exasperated by the fact that most of these companies never sit down and talk to their customers to find out what it is that the customers would like them to build. They subscribe to that old theory of, well, if we build it, they will come. And what Nissan has found out and what others are finding out is you can build it and it can sit. And a lot of the stuff, it's happening because it's not car people. It's not.
I think there's I don't know. I'm gonna argue with you on this one. I don't think it's fair, Dad, to say that the reason Ford is in trouble and the reason Nissan are in trouble is because they didn't have quote unquote car people. And I also think it's a really broad brush to paint with to say they don't talk to customers. Of course they talk to customers. The issue is they employ like 1,000-person teams to do product development that obviously miss the mark. But I don't think it's fair to say,
Well, how do you miss the mark so frequently?
To be clear, I'm not advocating that they're executing well. And I want to show you more of this. Moody's downgraded Nissan's credit rating to junk. Okay, so I mean, like these companies, legitimately for Ford in their case, their European division, and Nissan globally, like they could go bankrupt. There's a real legitimate chance of that, and it's because of bad decisions. But I don't know. It's hard to just say because they aren't car people.
I will give you the flowers that you deserve. I was painting with too broad of a brush. I apologize for that. At certain companies, I'll narrow that brush down a little bit.
Yeah.
At certain companies, they seem to have forgotten what it is that made them successful in the first place. And in many cases, they abandoned what it was that made them successful in the first place. And so those companies, and Nissan is one of them,
definitely,
they're struggling.
What made Nissan successful? Because you and I come on this show all the time, Dad, and we bemoan the lack of affordability. And if you go to CarEdge.com and you try and do some research, you're going to see that Nissan are some of the most affordable vehicles out there. Like if I come in here, Dad, and I do a Nissan Altima, we know that the Nissan Altima, doesn't have a high value rating, but it's not particularly expensive, $27,000 to $34,000. Like Nissan has done some things right in terms of being at a good price point, yet they lost their way. Similarly with Ford, we know the storyline there is obviously jacking up the prices.
It's price is one thing, quality is another thing.
I can explain why the value rating for the Nissan's a little lower than you might anticipate.
Issues are another thing. When I started with Nissan back in 1977, and at that time it was Datsun. I mean, we had the B210 and we had the 510, and the 510 was a smaller four-door sedan that ran really well, was bulletproof. I mean, it wasn't the most comfortable thing in the world, but it really did its job and held its value and didn't have very many issues. They were capable at one time at Nissan of being able to produce good quality vehicles that lasted. There was the 510 that was popular. There was the Maxima that was popular. When they came out with the Pathfinder, that was really just a hell of a vehicle when they first came out with it. So there was a history there at Nissan of being inventive and building good quality products. The 240Z. But they, for whatever reason, they seem to have lost their way. Maybe the bean counters got too involved. Maybe they cheapened things even more than they should have. I don't know. But yes, you can look at Nissan's history and you can extrapolate from that they lost their way. They abandoned who they were in an attempt to become something other than what they were.
So the big story this morning, again, is that Ford is facing some bankruptcy challenges or potential bankruptcy fears over in Germany, their unit that runs Germany and Spain. And at the same exact time, Nissan has now announced a new car guy CEO in Ivan Espinosa, who is tasked with turning around an automaker who saw their global operating profit decline 99% at times last year. So tricky situation over at Ford. And at Nissan, at the same exact time, the financial health of these organizations is in question too, with Nissan's credit rating going to junk status. Your credit rating's not in junk status, is it, Dad?
Not today. It was at one time. Bankrupt, been there, done that, not fun. And when I was there and did that and found out how little fun it was, it did negatively impact my credit score. And so at that time, my credit was junk status. Yes. Moody's wouldn't even touch me. Okay.
You know what I want to do, Dad? Unless you object, I want to go early to our favorite segment of the show and have it be a little bit more prolonged because I think it speaks to a challenge going on in the market right now. Do you mind hitting me with an ad lib?
Really? You have got to be kidding me.
All right. So, folks, some used car dealers are out here asking insane prices right now, and we need to bring awareness to this. There is a 2019 Honda CR-V for sale with over 100,000 miles on it at a local car dealership. $23,999 is the asking price for this dealer. Dad, on CarEdge.com, I got the free window sticker so I could see what this vehicle's original MSRP was. $26,970. Again, this vehicle has over 100,000 miles on it, and the dealer is asking $300 or $3,000 less than when it was brand new. And Dad, we went a step further and we also went to Carvana and to Carfax. 12.2 was the offer from Carvana to purchase this vehicle, and CarMax was $13,000 if we owned it. Dad, this is ridiculous, man. What's going on in the used car market right now? How much some of these dealers are asking for these used cars?
Well, as I always say, you can't get what you don't ask for. I would also think that at $23,999 for a 6-year-old Honda CR-V LX 4-wheel drive with 100,000+ miles on it, you're probably not getting a lot of clicks, and you're probably not getting a lot of inquiries. So yeah, it is ridiculous. I mean, even Hondas over the course of 6 years will depreciate more than $3,000. They just will. Okay.
10% depreciation over 6 years at 100,000 miles is asinine, absolutely crazy. And then a great way to sanity check the price that you should pay for a used car is to pretend like you own it and sell it to these other companies. It's just a data point. And for what it's worth, I think our target price range here, it's looking at all the market conditions, and I feel somewhat validated seeing Igor here saying the CR-V should not be retailed for more than $17,900. Like, the target price range is a great data point. But you could just go try and pretend to sell this to Carvana and CarMax and others.
Well, even at Carvana's inflated profit levels per vehicle sold of $6,500. Oh, well, that would mean it would, if they bought it for $12,200, they would be selling it for $18,700. That's $5,000, $5,200 less than what this dealer's. I mean, my suspicion, strictly a suspicion, having spent 43 years in the business, that this dealer is just hoping for that deaf, dumb, and blind kid to walk into the store and say, I need a CRV. I want my payment to be X. I don't care how many miles it has on it. If you can get me done, I will buy it. That's who they're looking for. Okay. Now, I don't know if Tommy still exists today, that deaf, dumb, and blind kid who played a mean pinball, but I mean, that's not a legitimate number for that car. It's just not.
I see some comments here in the chat that asking, well, maybe that's the only one in the area. Here you go, guys. We've got the buyer's guide back on CarEdge.com, and I actually pulled it up here, and you can see, no, this is not the only one available. It's actually ranked 79th out of 81 in this particular area, and you can see all these other options that are significantly better price. So no, I mean, dealers are out there looking for someone to just take a deal, and that's not what you should do. You definitely don't roll over in this situation and do that. And then, of course, the cost of ownership on top of it, because it's already depreciated, it's going to depreciate more. Like, use the free buyer's guide to help you make a smart decision when you purchase one of these vehicles. Because, yeah, man, when I saw this, I thought, okay, really, you've got to be kidding me. 6 years and $3,000 in depreciation? Come on, get out.
I don't care if it's the last one in the world. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's not worth 24 grand. Nobody should be paying $7,000 more than what its real retail value might be. Okay, we know that Carvana and CarMax typically pay more for pre-owned cars than just about anybody. So if the highest number from them is 13 grand, wholesale wise, I'm thinking that's an $11,000 vehicle. $11,500, $12,000 if I really had to push myself in order to make a deal. But I'm not sitting there thinking to myself, well, if I go to 12, I can probably sell it. I can probably double it and sell it for 24.
Insanity.
Absolute insanity. And what would be even more insane is if somebody bought the damn thing. I can't.
Especially when the average interest rate on a used car loan right now is over 14%.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine that?
And at 24 grand, whoever's looking to buy that with 100,000 miles on it is probably saying, can you get me 72-month financing?
Yeah, let's look at this actually really quickly. So I'm back on the page here. I'm going to scroll all the way down. All right, so let's see. So the out the door price, once you factor in the doc fee, your sales tax, your title fee, and registration, if you paid the target price, folks, target price. So we're not saying you're paying, the dealer's asking price. You're paying the target price. Let's change this though to reflect the dealer's asking price, which is about $3,000 more. Right? No.
No.
The dealer's asking price is $6,000. Yeah, the dealer's asking price is $6,500 more. Holy.
Yeah, it's $23,999. So that's not the out the door. Go back up.
No. There it is. The actual price would then be $6,000 more.
Well, no, because the tax is going to be more. Go back up and change the selling price to $23,999. You can't change the target price. I can't change it in the out the door price, but I think we intend on making it so that you can change it there. Okay.
We used to be able to.
So it's close enough, as I like to say. What we're about to show you is close enough for government work.
There you go. So 26.5.
Yes.
We're going to put no cash down because why would we? We're going to do this for 72 months, and we're going to get financed at the average interest rate, which is 14%.
Yes.
Do you want to guess what the payment is?
$550 a month.
$412.
Okay.
$412, not so bad, folks. So that's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for a customer to come in and say, I need my monthly payment to be under $450 a month. This CRV is interesting to me. Can you get me done? And that's what they do. They're going to get you done at 14% on 72 months. You're not going to negotiate the price.
Yeah, that's who they're
looking for. And that
is
spring selling season in a nutshell. I see some
Yeah.
comments in the chat. Spring selling season, get crazy stupid around this time. Absolutely. And it's like a public service announcement. If you're going to go buy a used car right now, more power to you if you're going to. Don't walk in there and say, I need to be under $450 a month.
Well, and the reality is that person is, I hate to say this, but that person more than likely is going to be a subprime candidate. So it's going to be a 21% interest rate or 22% interest rate. The likelihood of them going bad is much greater. You're talking about a 6-year-old car with 100,000 miles on it, and during the 6 years that they're hoping to own it, that there's a rather strong likelihood that there's going to be a major repair that is needed that they won't have the money for. So this is a situation where a dealer is looking to make a killing. Okay, they are looking to be able to book a room in the Maldives for a week and a half, okay, based on the commission that they're going to make on this car. And then this customer is going to run into financial difficulty down the road, get the vehicle repossessed, get screwed, find it even more difficult to be able to buy their next vehicle. So you've made a hefty profit, and you've killed this customer from ever being a customer of your dealership again. Tell me how that makes sense. I get it for, well, it was a big profit today, but you've lost this guy as a potential customer down the road. And once he or she realizes how screwed they are, how many people do you think they're going to tell? Don't go to so-and-so. Look what they did to me. It is so short-sighted of dealerships to operate in that manner.
Dad, I got to come back. What was your guess again on the payment for this originally? It was $550, wasn't it?
$550, yeah.
I must have had a typo in here. Apologies, because I just checked. Leon, I saw him in the chat. He said, hey, it was $546 a month. Wow, you are so spot on. What did I do wrong there, gang? What did I do wrong there? Because I thought I had everything in there. But anyway, I must have messed something up. $546 a month, not $400 like we were talking about a moment ago. So, Dad, damn, you are spot on. I want to come here to the chat, Pops. We've had some really thoughtful contributions come in. And I want to pull up one thing with regards to this particular vehicle. Igor saying this CRV is over 160% loan to value, plus title tax and license not included. What bank will finance it? That's the scary thing, is we've seen banks do crazy stuff. And Cox Automotive recently had data on automotive lending and it loosening a little bit here, becoming more available. So hopefully no bank approves that loan. But if they do, from Matthew here, Pops. Thank you, Matthew. We appreciate it. One of two. Ray, they listen to customers too much via focus group. That's the problem. Will you pay for this and that, etc.? They'll all say, yes, that's cool, I'll pay. Matthew's second comment here. Thank you, Matthew. Hence the $100,000 Jeeps, the soft ride BMWs, and amorphous gray blobs. Let designers design, engineers engineer, and racers tweak. The customers will buy. I think Matthew's onto something here, Dad. They employ so many people, spend so much money on those damn focus groups, they miss the mark.
Well, I can't. How many vehicles that have come out and that have been discontinued can you name where they've totally missed the mark? It happens all the time. What is supposed to be a big seller doesn't sell at all. It is the epitome of money that is not spent wisely. And what is it? What is it they say about data? Poop in, poop out. Is that what it is?
Yeah, bad data in, you're gonna get bad data out. Absolutely.
And that, I think, because if you put together a focus group and you paint it in such a way, well, if this was only this much, and would you like to have this in your car? Would you like? People are predisposed to say yes. They're not really spending their money in these focus groups. Yeah. It's easy to say yes to everything when you're not really buying it. Concentrate on the real world. And the real world right now is difficult at best for most people in the United States and probably worldwide to continue to afford what it is that they can afford. So start thinking about ways to make vehicles less expensive.
Totally.
And make them and market them in such a manner that they become cool to buy, and people can save some money.
Totally. Dad, let's keep it going here in the chat from Rich. Good to see you, Rich. Thank you for the contribution. Ray, someone bought a banana duct tape to a white canvas for $2 million. The vehicle worth it. Oh gosh.
Well, yeah, you've got a point, and I can't tell good art from bad art, but apparently a banana duct taped to a white canvas is good art. But what do I know?
Let's keep it moving, Pops. We've got here from Michael. Thank you, Michael. We really appreciate it. Really, really do. Pops is right, Michael says. At least 3 Ford Escape Titaniums in 9 to 10 years from the same dealer. During the pandemic, the dealer went out of its way to treat me like garbage. Not even offer me a new unit. I bought out my lease and dealer was pissed. Stupid. Yeah, things changed during the pandemic and things are changing again right now. It's very obvious with these automakers that are struggling, the dealers that are struggling.
And what was it the other day that we were talking about where a woman had a fleet of Toyotas and she owned over 100 Toyotas that she bought from a particular dealer, and during the pandemic they told her, someone who had bought over 100 new Toyotas from, they told her, hey, we can't treat you any differently than anybody else. She doesn't shop at that Toyota dealership anymore. Dealers can be so short-sighted. If you have a good customer, I keep saying this. I've said it to every owner I've ever worked for. It is cheaper to keep your existing customers than it is to go out and replace them. So if you have good customers, if you have a good customer who's bought several cars from you, brings their cars into your service department to maintain them, continues their relationship with you through sales, parts, service, and you run into a situation like we had during the pandemic and there's a shortage, well, you don't forget that this person was a good customer of yours. So you bite the bullet on that vehicle that you need to sell to this customer. But you don't suddenly treat this customer like, well, I've never seen you before. Who are you? Why should we give you special treatment? Ultimately, the customer has all the power. They can choose where it is that they spend their money. Why do you ever, if you've had them as a customer, why would you ever want to give that customer a reason to decide to spend their money elsewhere? I keep saying I'm not that bright, but my God, you don't need a college education to realize that keeping your customers coming back is much less expensive than it is to go out and find new ones that are dumb enough to do business with you.
Let's switch gears, Dan. Let's help Alejandro out really quickly. What does buy rate mean, Papa Shevska? Let's drop some knowledge for Alejandro and the car.
Okay, when you finance a car at a car dealership through the car dealership, that is what's known as indirect lending. What that means is you are giving a credit application to the dealership. They are the ones that are submitting your credit application to banks on an indirect basis. That means you're not going to the bank directly. The dealership's doing it for you. When a dealership does that, when a bank approves a loan, they will say the loan is approved for X. The interest rate would be, the buy rate would be, the rate we're going to charge the dealership is X. Let's just say it's 5.9%. Dealerships typically mark up the interest rate that they are given from the bank 1 to 2 percentage points. So if you were approved and the buy rate was 5.99%, the dealership is going to charge you $7.99 or $6.99, And that extra interest that's built into the loan, the dealership collects a percentage of. So that's what buy rate is. What the bank is charging the dealership for the money, and then what the dealership in turn sells the money to you for is always or typically higher than what the bank charged the dealer.
I don't know why a dealership doing indirect, I don't know why anyone doing indirect lending would give you a lower rate. At a minimum, they should give you the buy rate. That being said, if you Google search buy rate space CarEdge, you'll see here over on the community forum, we've had some discussions about money factors and buy rates, as well as we've got a car buying cheat sheet that gives you all of the information you need here. So go ahead and check this out back on CarEdge.com, or again, just Google search CarEdge buy rate, and all this great information for free will show up there for you. Dad, we've got another really you've got to be kidding me, and it ties into this. It's deals like this that cause customers to drive through dealership windows. Hit me with an ad lib, Pops.
Well, this ad lib is, what the hell is wrong with people? I'm sorry.
Subaru Outback owner crashes into a CarMax after disappointing appraisal and injures 8 people. What
Two critically, 2 of them critically.
There is no time, space. This is bad. I mean, you go off on this. This is bad.
There's 3 things in life that are true when it comes to buying a car. The amount that the dealer is asking for their car is always more than what you want it to be. The amount that they're going to offer you for your trade-in is always less than you think it should be. And either you or somebody you know has been screwed by a car dealer. If you know walking in that they're going to offer you less for your car than you think it should be, don't get mad at them when they do that. Okay? If you as the customer think your car is worth way more than what a dealership is appraising it for, exercise your right to sell it yourself. But don't try to punish the dealership or the dealership personnel or customers that might be in a showroom because, well, I am so offended, I'm just going to drive my vehicle through your dealership. You need to have your head examined. Okay, there is something wrong when we think the solution to the problem is to just destroy the people and the property where you think the problem originated. It's just, I can't think of anything stupider than I'm really pissed with the amount you're offering me for my trade. And to show you how pissed I am, I'm going to destroy your showroom and destroy the vehicle that I think you undervalued, so it'll be worth even less tomorrow. What the hell is wrong with people?
Also, 2 people critically injured, 8 people injured in total. Those people have families.
Yes.
Those people wanted to go home. They didn't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
It was just disgusting. Really, really, really bad. Terrible, to say the least. Matthew, thanks for the contribution. All these window crashers should have gone to Carvana. I don't know what that means. No one should be crashing cars into windows or anything. No, right. No. We've got from Baron. They are lighting. Thank you, Baron, for the contribution. They are lighting entire dealerships on fire in the Pacific Northwest. Jeez Louise, I haven't seen that. That sounds terrible. People are adult children. Yeah, I mean, CarEdge community. You don't like a number you get, don't do anything reckless about it. And before you even go to the dealership, just do all your homework. No need to even be like, there should be no gotchas when you go to the dealership, whether it's a CarMax, a Carvana, or your local car dealer. There's no gotchas when you've got CarEdge before you go. Absolute chaos and just terrible to see stuff like this happening.
It just makes you wonder, how have we lost the ability to think critically?
Well, yeah, AI is not helping with that. But anyway, folks, you don't have to rely on AI to get the best car deal. You can take advantage of Negotiation Expert, the latest and greatest from CarEdge. In addition to our car buying service, where we take it all off your hands, we now have our Negotiation Expert service, which is a little more focused. You know the vehicle you want, and you just want to put us to work to get you the best price. Take a peek back at caredge.com/concierge, or from the caredge.com homepage. Just click on skip the dealership right there, and it'll take you to that page. So much good stuff going on back at caredge.com. Thank you to the CarEdge team. Today's show is much smoother, so really appreciate everyone's efforts yesterday to iron out some of those bugs. And Pops, last time I checked, we'll be back here at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow with more CarEdge Live. How's that sound?
That sounds good to me. And for those of you who just haven't had enough of me yet, and I don't know how that could possibly be, I believe Brandon and I will be recording our weekly podcast at 1:30 today at CarSense.
Check it out, folks. CarSense, CarCents. Pops, you look great today. Enjoy the afternoon. I am going to go get some lunch.
Well, enjoy your lunch and look forward to seeing you this weekend.
We do love Ray. Yeah, I'm so excited, Dad. Anyway, all right. Love you. Bye.